Hello guys, it's Revolution. So I was preparing a video concerning who was the stronger fusion out of Vegito and Gogeta, but alas, the Jump magazine has confirmed strongest fusion of Goku and Vegeta, the Metamoran fusion of Gogeta, who will be fighting Broly in Dragon Ball Super Broly, and the Potara fused Vegito, who we saw fight against Buhan in Dragon Ball Z and merge Zamasu in Dragon Ball Super. Now the debate about which is the stronger fusion between Gogeta and Vegito has raged on for well over a decade. Now a lot of YouTubers use the word finally in their videos even when it's not warranted, but this truly is a finally moment. We finally have the details on who is the strongest out of Gogeta and Vegito. And we won't just talk about the information we've received from the Jump magazine, but we'll also talk about the history between these two and what it means in the context for the future of the Dragon Ball verse. And of course, we'll talk about that infamous Potara time limit retcon that may swing the balance in Gogeta's favour. Or will it? Anyway, before we get to that, this is not concerning power scaling, but just like the other day, I want to know who you think has the better design out of Vegito Blue and Gogeta Blue. Let me know which is your favourite design, Vegito's design or Gogeta's design, and let me know down in the comment section and your reasons why, Team Gogeta or Team Vegito. And if you are new to Revolution, subscribe to Revolution to be notified whenever I release new content concerning Dragon Ball theories, power scaling news, lore and history breakdowns, you name it. Subscribe to Revolution, keep smashing that like button, keep lending the Daishenkin your energy. So as mentioned, Vegito vs Gogeta, Potara vs Metamoran fusion has caused heated debates amongst the Dragon Ball fandom for years. Now, there has never been a definitive answer to which was the stronger fusion. This is due to the fact that we never saw Goku and Vegeta use the Metamoran fusion in the mainstream of the Dragon Ball manga. Before Dragon Ball Super Broly, we'd only ever seen Gogeta in the Dragon Ball Z movies, Fusion Reborn, as well as Dragon Ball GT, where we got to see Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta have too much smoke for a Mega Shenron. This led to Dragon Ball power scalers cross-referencing different sources to try and come to a conclusion on who was the stronger fusion. Of course, we only ever received information regarding Gogeta from the Dragon Ball GT Perfect files, which of course stated that Metamoran fusion Gogeta was a dozens of times multiplier. This could range anywhere from 24 to 96 times, and some people say it could mean up to 144 times. Given the fact that it was also stated Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta could one-shot a Mega Shenron, it's likely in the higher echelons of those dozens of times. But the point is, that was the only information we had concerning the power or multiplier of the Metamoran fusion of Gogeta. Of course, as I mentioned in my video the other day, why Gogeta is far stronger than we thought, the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie has completely retconned Gogeta's power from what it was perceived as in Dragon Ball GT. Then you have information on the Potara fused Vegito. The Daisenshu states that even base Vegito was as strong as Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which would really mean that Potara fusion is a 400 times base multiplier at the very least. And then of course you had the rather vague statement from the Super Exciting guides, which stated it was Fusey A times Fusey B, Goku times Vegeta, which would have been an absolutely massive multiplier of power. And it was never really contradicted because obviously Vegito came at the end of Dragon Ball Z and he was the strongest character to ever appear, so there was no ceiling there in terms of how strong Vegito could have been. However, I think you can agree that both statements in the Daisenshu and the Super Exciting guides are both vague. Of course, Dragon Ball Super changed that with the introduction of the God of Destruction Beerus and Whis, and we would eventually see Vegito appear again in the Future Trunks saga, returning to fight against another Potara fusion, Merge Zamasu. We never really got any information again on how powerful this version of Vegito Blue was, but the manga stated, whilst using the final Kamehameha, a power amping technique, Shin stated that Vegito Blue had surpassed Beerus. Of course, this was never stated in the Dragon Ball Super anime, it was simply left open for interpretation. Of course, the Dragon Ball Super manga is a different continuity to that of the Dragon Ball Super anime, and the debate on whether you can use manga information to fill out Dragon Ball Super anime plot holes rages on. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section. But finally, we have both fusions in the same continuity, and finally, we have information pertaining to how strong these fusions are, and finally, I'm actually going to tell you what it is. I do apologize for the wait, but if you've been waiting 15 odd years for solid concrete information on this like me, I think you'll appreciate everything I've just spoken about. But this information appeared in the weekly Shonen Jump magazine, owned by Shueisha Studios, who own Dragon Ball alongside Akira Toriyama. Thank you for Yonkai Productions for providing this image, and thank you for Herms, of course, for translating it into English for us. So finally, let's go. Popular characters from the DB world are added to the canon by Akira Toriyama Sensei's hand. Of course, it's referring to Broly and Gogeta, and of course by canon it's referring to the mainstream canonicity of Dragon Ball Super. So if Vegito is born from the Potara, then fusion gives birth to Gogeta, two equally matched ultimate trump cards. What's more, in this movie Gogeta transforms into Super Saiyan and even Super Saiyan Blue. So there you have it, guys. I said this at the end of my video concerning Gogeta's power being far stronger than we thought. I suspected that this was an attempt by Akira Toriyama writing Gogeta into the Dragon Ball canon, that Gogeta would be as strong as Vegito. All the previous information that we had from the Dragon Ball GT Perfect files does not apply for Dragon Ball Super Gogeta. However, it does still apply for Dragon Ball GT Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, rendering the multiplier for both forms of fusion, Potara and Metamoran, the same. So if we were able to have a Super Saiyan Blue Vegito and a Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta appear at the same time, they would be the same power. Of course, this is talking future tense, so if Goku and Vegeta were to use Potara fusion against Broly, a post-tournament of power Goku and Vegeta using Potara fusion, they will be as strong as the Metamoran fusion of Gogeta Blue that appears in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. So we finally have the answer to which is the strongest fusion. Neither, they're both the same. However, the Vegito that I've just spoken about just now was a hypothetical Vegito, because the last time Vegito appeared, like I said, was in the Future Trunks saga. Vegito Blue fought against Merged Zamasu. However, Gogeta Blue in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie will be stronger than the last iteration that we ever saw of Vegito Blue. So what exactly is the multiplier for both sets of fusions? Well, as I mentioned in my video the other day, once again, why Gogeta is far stronger than you thought. I go far more in depth about this in that video, so if you've not seen it, make sure you check it out. But Gogeta in his base is able to dodge and parry Super Saiyan Broly's attacks effortlessly, and this version of Broly has far too much smoke for Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta fighting simultaneously, meaning that base Gogeta is stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku or Vegeta by quite a considerable distance. So how do we gauge that multiplier? Well, it's stronger than Super Saiyan Blue. We don't have exact figures for some of the transformations, but we know that Super Saiyan 3 is 400 times base as per the Super Exciting guides. We don't know the stacked Super Saiyan God multiplier, but at a low ball, it's most likely at least twice as strong as Super Saiyan 3. Then of course we have Super Saiyan Blue, which if you look at the fight against K-Flat in the Tournament of Power, it appears to be a 50 times multiplier of Super Saiyan God, just like the regular golden haired Super Saiyan is over base. That would equate to a 40,000 times base multiplier. Gogeta in base is stronger than that, so it would be above 40,000, and remember that 40,000 is lowballing the stacked Super Saiyan God multiplier, so it's likely more than that. And you also have to consider that Goku can use Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, which would amp his power to 800,000 times base at a bare minimum. Of course, Kaioken has a lot of drawbacks, and it remains to be seen whether Goku's taking into consideration Kaioken times 20 against Broly in the movie. That's one of the finer details from the movie we still need to find out. In the case of Vegito and Gogeta Blue, the Potara fusion and Metamoran fusion amp their power by at least 40,000 times. And upon fusing, remember, they are in their base form. They can still stack Super Saiyan Blue on top again. And as I keep saying, those are lowballed figures. They could be a lot higher. Now, in the Tournament of Power, upon seeing Caulifla in Kale fuse for Universe 6, K-Fla appeared and Vados made these remarks, stating that the new body and personality born from a Potara fusion are more than the sum of their parts, and their power increases tens of times. Now, when you initially hear that, it sounds like death of the author. However, when you actually read it and put it into perspective, Potara fusion is more than the sum of their parts, so that's, in this case at least, Kale and Caulifla, and possibly their transformations as well, their power put together, and then it increases their power tens of times. So the base K-Fla is tens of times stronger than the strongest form of the Potara fusion, which in this case would be Kale's Super Saiyan Berserk controlled state. I'm sure you remember from Dragon Ball Super episode 114 that Super Saiyan 2 Goku was struggling struggling with great difficulty against Super Saiyan Berserk Kale. However, when he became Super Saiyan God, he started to dominate Super Saiyan Berserk Kale. So if this Potara fusion was tens of times stronger than Kale's Berserk form, there's every reason that it will be stronger than Super Saiyan God Goku. When you go back to Super Vegito from the Buu Saga, the Daizenshu pretty much states the same thing, that base Vegito is stronger than Goku's strongest transformation, Super Saiyan 3. And then of course we have a base Gogeta going up against a Super Saiyan Broly who is far stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta fighting in cohesion. And as we now know, Metamoran fusion and Potara fusion have the same multiplier. So is it the case that fusion is simply the strongest version of one of the fusees, or perhaps both of their powers combined, times tens of times to become the fused base, either base Gogeta, base Kefla, base Vegito, and then they can still stack their transformations on top again? Of course, this is just theoretical for now, it's not confirmed by any official source, but it's all starting to add up. So power scalers held Vegito in higher regard than Gogeta in terms of power for many a year based on all the information we previously had. Of course, those conclusions predated this new information that came out in the Weekly Shonen Jump concerning Gogeta and Vegito being equals. And as I always say, you can only really power scale off the concrete information you have at hand, and even that can get retconned, as we found out with the Potara fusion time limit in the Future Trunks saga. The Elder Kai in the Buu saga stated Potara fusion was permanent, however in the Future Trunks saga we found out that for mortals it can last up to an hour, but the more power you use, as we saw with Vegito Blue using the final Kamehameha, it lasted seemingly 5 minutes at best. It lasted approximately 7 minutes of airtime in episode 66 of Dragon Ball Super, but of course when characters fight in Dragon Ball Super they are fighting at massively faster than light speeds. The action combat scenes are slowed down for us as an audience so we can perceive what's actually going on. So what the Elder Kai initially called a weakness of Metamoran fusion is not the case for mortals using Potara fusion. Of course, Metamoran fusion has always been known to last 30 minutes, and I've heard from reliable sources that Gogeta fights Broly for at least 10 minutes of airtime in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. If that's the case, then of course you would have to say Gogeta would win, but you also have to take into consideration that Vegito Blue was fighting against an immortal being that was closer to his power level than Broly is to Gogeta Blue. So you could argue that in that instance Vegito Blue was using a lot more power because he was trying to vaporize an immortal being. Don't get it twisted, I'm not saying Merge Zamasu is as strong as Broly, nowhere near, but what I'm saying is Merge Zamasu seems to be closer in power to Vegito Blue than Broly appears to be in relation to Gogeta Blue. And as mentioned before, whilst a hypothetical Broly movie Vegito Blue would be just as strong as a Broly movie Gogeta Blue, the Broly movie Gogeta Blue is stronger than the Future Trunks saga Vegito Blue. So this is what I want to know, guys. Given the time limits that are implied, given all of their techniques that we've witnessed, who would win this fight out of Gogeta and Vegito? It's pretty much a stats equalized battle now. So let me know your reasons why your choice wins this fight down in the comment section. I look forward to reading them. Keep lending me your energy. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Until next time, Ad Astra.